Trump's TikTok deal isn't the victory he's claiming. It's a massive handover of American power to tech oligarchs. While the world celebrates TikTok's survival, the real story is how Trump just gave America's most influential social media platform to his billionaire allies. We're talking about Oracle, Silver Lake, and Andreessen Horowitz, taking control of the algorithm that shapes what 170 million Americans see every day.
Problems for us to solve. The best example is the number one political issue of our time, the crisis of uncontrolled migration. It's uncontrolled. Your countries are being ruined. The United Nations is funding an assault on Western countries and their borders.
This isn't just about business interests. We're witnessing a fundamental shift in how information flows through American society. The same president who rails against globalist agendas at international forums is now handing over unprecedented control of digital discourse to a handful of corporate entities. So what exactly did Trump agree to, and why is this deal more dangerous than the TikTok ban itself? To understand that, we need to look at what's really happening behind the scenes. The Trump administration reached a deal with China that would allow TikTok to continue operating across the US by leasing its content recommendation algorithm from ByteDance rather than selling it outright. Under this new framework, ByteDance would duplicate the algorithm, then lease that version to a US-controlled joint venture led by investors, including Oracle, Silver Lake, and Andreessen Horowitz. This arrangement responds to a 2024 US law which demanded that TikTok either come under American control or face a nationwide ban. But here's where it gets concerning. Selling the algorithm was considered earlier but dismissed because ByteDance wanted to keep using the technology in markets outside the US. So instead of forcing a complete separation, Trump settled for a lease arrangement that keeps ByteDance in the picture.
It's the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the world, in my opinion. Climate change, no matter what happens, you're involved in that. No more global warming, no more global cooling, all of these predictions made by the United Nations and many others, often for bad reasons, were wrong. They were made by stupid people that have cost their countries fortunes and given those same countries no chance for success. If you don't get away from this green scam, your country is going to fail. And I'm really good at predicting things, you know. They actually said during the campaign they had a hat, the best-selling hat. Trump was right about everything. And I don't say that in a braggadocious way, but it's true. I've been right about everything. And I'm telling you that if you don't get away from the green energy scam.
The irony here is striking. The same administration that claims to champion American sovereignty is essentially creating a backdoor for continued Chinese influence, while enriching politically connected billionaires in the process. Under the deal, Oracle would play a central role ensuring data security. Oracle is expected to rebuild and retrain the duplicated algorithm so that US user data is safeguarded on US servers. The board of the new US entity would be majority American-owned, with ByteDance retaining less than 20% of the ownership stake. But don't mistake this for true American control. President Donald Trump is expected to sign an executive order later this week to confirm the structure of the deal. He has also granted a further 120-day extension to enforce the law requiring divestment or ban in order to complete final details. Some lawmakers in Congress have, however, expressed concerns over whether leasing the algorithm constitutes cooperation with ByteDance, which is restricted under current legislation. Beijing has reportedly given preliminary approval to the deal during diplomatic talks held in Madrid. Yet Chinese government statements have been more ambiguous in public than those of US officials. This inconsistency raises questions about whether China is truly committed to the arrangement or simply buying time. The US government will not hold an equity stake nor place a government representative on the board, but American investors and some existing ByteDance investors will share control under the new governance structure. The proposal aims to balance national security demands in Washington with the commercial interests of ByteDance. But what Trump is selling as a national security victory is actually something much more troubling. This deal doesn't eliminate Chinese influence, it just redirects it through American billionaires who have their own agendas. Oracle chairman Larry Ellison is close with Trump and has a documented relationship with the Israel Defense Forces. Mark Andreessen's venture capital firm has investments across the tech industry that could benefit from controlling TikTok's algorithm. Silver Lake is a private equity firm focused on maximizing returns for wealthy investors. These aren't neutral guardians of American interests. They're business entities with clear profit motives and political connections. The algorithm lease arrangement is particularly problematic because it means the core technology driving TikTok's content recommendations remains tied to ByteDance. Oracle will retrain and monitor the algorithm, but the fundamental architecture and methodology come from the Chinese company. This creates ongoing dependencies and potential vulnerabilities that the original ban was designed to eliminate. Some lawmakers are already expressing skepticism about whether this arrangement truly satisfies the intent of the 2024 law. The legislation prohibited cooperation with respect to the operation of a content recommendation algorithm, and critics argue that leasing constitutes exactly that kind of cooperation. Expect legal challenges and congressional scrutiny as the details become public, but the deeper issue isn't just about Chinese influence, it's about concentrating control of information in the hands of a few powerful American companies and individuals. TikTok's algorithm shapes what millions of Americans see, think about, and discuss every day. By handing that power to Oracle and its partners, Trump is essentially privatizing a public utility for information distribution. This matters because algorithms aren't neutral tools. They reflect the values, biases, and interests of their creators and controllers. When Oracle retrains TikTok's algorithm, it will be making decisions about what content gets promoted, what voices get amplified, and what perspectives get marginalized. These decisions will be made based on Oracle's business interests and the political preferences of its leadership, not democratic principles or public interest.
It also has associated it with liver toxicity. Some studies have also found the use of acetaminophen in children can potentially prolong viral illnesses. FDA will drive new research to safeguard mothers, children, and families. In addition to a possible acetaminophen connection to autism for pregnant women, infants, and toddlers, our research has revealed that folate deficiency in a child's brain can lead to autism. We have also identified an exciting therapy that may benefit large numbers of children who suffer from autism. Peer-reviewed literature has documented that up to 60% of folate-deficient children with ASD can have improved verbal communications if given leucovorin. I have instructed NIH, FDA, and CMS to help doctors treat children appropriately. Jay will help tell that story, which started with sound science, the kind that restores faith in government. The announcement of this announcement.
We've seen this pattern before with other technology platforms. What starts as a promise of innovation and security often ends up as another mechanism for consolidating power among the already powerful. The difference here is the unprecedented scale and the direct government facilitation of this transfer. The timing of this deal is also suspicious. Trump announced the framework just as his administration faces pressure on multiple fronts, from trade negotiations with China to domestic criticism over his economic policies. Saving TikTok gives him a win he can point to, even if the underlying arrangement undermines the national security concerns that justified the original ban threat. Meanwhile, Oracle gets to expand its already lucrative relationship with TikTok. The company already provides cloud services for the app and hosts user data as part of a multi-billion-dollar partnership. This deal essentially locks in Oracle's position as TikTok's technology partner, while giving the company unprecedented control over the platform's core functionality. The broader implications extend far beyond TikTok itself. This deal sets a precedent for how foreign-owned tech platforms can maintain operations in the U.S. through partnerships with politically connected American companies. It creates a model that other countries might demand for American tech companies operating in their markets.
Dear Mr. Chairman, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. 80 years ago, humanity, emerging from the Second World War, embarked on a long road towards peace. Building on the solid foundation of the rules-based international order, our forefathers created the United Nations and its institutional system. This system was never perfect. Many nations, Lithuania included, had to struggle for decades, seeking freedom, independence, and sovereignty. Many people suffered war, famine, and premature death. And yet, it was the best international order that we have ever. The United Nations system embodied the great hope that nourishes the human soul and guides our actions for the universal good. Together we succeeded in condemning war and conquest, at least in theory, if not always in practice. To this day, even the worst aggressors feel ashamed.
Think about what this means for the future of international technology governance. If the US accepts this kind of arrangement for TikTok, how can it object when other nations demand similar partnerships for American platforms? We're essentially legitimizing a system where political connections matter more than genuine security concerns. More fundamentally, it demonstrates how national security concerns can be used to justify transferring control of important technologies to private companies with close government ties. This isn't about protecting America from Chinese influence. It's about redirecting that influence through American intermediaries who profit from the arrangement. The deal also raises questions about data privacy and user rights. While Oracle promises to secure American user data, the company will have unprecedented access to personal information about millions of Americans. There are no clear restrictions on how Oracle can use this data for its own business purposes or share it with other companies. IES and its network. Congressional oversight will be crucial in the coming months. Lawmakers need to scrutinize not just whether this deal meets the technical requirements of the 2024 law, but whether it serves the broader public interest. They should demand transparency about Oracle's role, clear restrictions on data use, and mechanisms for democratic oversight of algorithm decisions. The American people deserve better than a backroom deal that trades Chinese control for oligarch control. True protection of national security and democratic values would require genuine public oversight of social media algorithms, not just transferring them between different sets of powerful interests. Instead of celebrating this deal, we should be asking harder questions about who really benefits and what precedent it sets for the future of digital platforms in America. The stakes couldn't be higher. We're talking about who controls the information diet of hundreds of millions of Americans. As this deal moves forward, pay attention to the details that don't make the headlines. Look at the specific terms of Oracle's control, the mechanisms for ongoing ByteDance involvement, and the absence of meaningful public oversight. This isn't the victory Trump is claiming. It's a warning about how easily democratic institutions can be bypassed when powerful interests align. The TikTok deal might save the app, but it could cost us something much more valuable: genuine democratic control over the technologies that shape our public discourse. Thanks for watching. If you want to see how other tech deals are reshaping American democracy, check out our other videos. And if you want to stay updated on how corporate power is influencing government policy, be sure to subscribe for more in-depth analyses and breaking news.